Hey there, welcome. Welcome to Rise and Receive. This is a reset point in your day where you get to explore how to receive your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So today we are doing our part 3 on receiving freedom. So if that's something that speaks to you, if you feel constrained, restricted, held back, or trapped for any reason at all, then I invite you to just, take this break in your day for 10 or 15 minutes and just settle in and receive what we unpack today, because I think you're going to find great value in it. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I show goal-oriented people the hard work habits they need to drop in order to be free to receive their long overdue rewards. And the way I do this is I teach people the very concrete results producing skill set that I call receiving through a 3-step receive method. Hi, Julie. Welcome. Good to see you. So the reason I teach receiving is that I've discovered over my 25 plus years as a life coach is that while many people know how to think, pursue, hunt, and work very hard for their goals, most people are unfamiliar with receiving. And so what happens is if you don't know the skill set of receiving, which is the counterbalance to the hunting and pursuing, then what happens is when your rewards haven't arrived yet, when you haven't gotten the goal, and you're just left there like, well, what now? What do? We work even harder because that's the skill set that we have. But actually, hard work can sabotage you and can prolong those rewards. Receiving, however, is the most natural thing in the world. And so when you tap into that skill set that's already natural to you, all of a sudden you can receive things that have been just there waiting for you if you knew how to open up to them. So the way we've been doing this in our 3-part series on receiving is I'm illuminating blind spots. And a blind spot occurs when your current point of view hides an essential insight. That's because from everything that I teach, I stand on this basic assumption, which is your consciousness creates your reality. Everything that happens in your inner world, thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, expectations, life experiences, sensations in your body, all of that inner world, the sum total of that is your consciousness. And your consciousness is what creates your reality, your experience in the world. Most of us think that cause and effect happens out there in the physical world, but that's just a tiny part of the bigger picture of what really causes the life that you experience. So when you have a point of view, that really tells us a lot about what is happening in your consciousness that's creating your reality. But when you see a blind spot, you now see things in a way you just couldn't see before. You didn't know what you didn't know. That shifts your point of view, that opens up your consciousness, and all of a sudden you can receive things. And I see this happen all the time. It's that fast. It's like, wow, I can see it. Shift in perception, shift in consciousness, and then a whole new up-leveling in receiving happens. Now, a receiving blind spot occurs when you're operating more as a human doing, that's the hunter, versus a human being, which is the majestic tree. And so when you're a human doing or operating that way as a hunter, there's a very specific set of skills that you rely on. A whole lot of thinking, a whole lot of problem solving, a whole lot of action with a very narrow focus. That's what the hunter does. And also you're looking out there in the outer world on the horizon. Now, what that can give rise to is the blind spot that I've been talking about a lot in this particular series and that we're highlighting. So we're talking about now the separation blind spot. The separation blind spot. So what happens when your point of view is one of separation, like the hunter? Well, here's a couple clues that I've been talking about. You will perceive lack, like the hunter. So whether you're hunting food, an animal, whether you're hunting a boyfriend or hunting for a girlfriend or hunting for a weight loss goal or hunting for a new job, do you see there's always that hunter energy? You will perceive lack. That's one of the clues that you've got separation consciousness, because here's what the hunter does. I don't have the woolly mammoth that's going to feed me and my family. I'm separate from it. I lack it. I need to go get it. So there's this assumption of lack. All right. There's also the simple assumption that you're separate from what you want. So rather than I am it, I have it right here, right now, I'm separate from it. I'm here and my meal is out there somewhere in the wilderness. So you're separate. So when you have a separation consciousness, you manifest your experience feeling being separate. And the third clue is that you believe something needs to happen before you'll receive what you want. So I need to work really hard and walk on the terrain and hunt until I get my thing. Then I'll get the goal. Same thing with weight loss. I need to do this exercise and eat this way. When I fulfill these behaviors or conditions, then something needs to happen first, then I'll lose the weight. I need to go on the dating sites, or I need to lose 10 pounds, or I need to get a raise before I have enough money to impress somebody. Then I can have a relationship. So do you see there's always a condition that needs to be fulfilled first? That's why the doing model is what I call conditional receiving. You'll only allow yourself to receive when a condition is fulfilled. Now, the being model of power is reasonless receiving. You receive simply because you exist. And this is the essence of oneness consciousness. It is already here right now, just like the majestic tree experiences. The tree is present, it's whole and complete. Nothing needs to happen first before it's a tree. It's a tree right now. It's actually the potential of a tree when it's in the seed. And it just stands there and receives all day long from life. The sun, the air, the heat, the water, the rain. It doesn't go hunt anything. Nothing needs to happen first. It just receives what life is offering. It's already here. And as I like to say, when you're rooted in living your life as a human being, the assumption is you already are, like the majestic tree, all that you seek to be, do, and have. You are it. Life is it. It's right here, right now. So how do you open the floodgates or the flow gates? You open up to this oneness consciousness as opposed to the separation consciousness. So in part one, I talked about where is it that you look for freedom. In part two, I talked about what you see in relationship to freedom. And today's part three is how do you experience freedom? How do you actually be free if you feel trapped? Well, the thing I want to really highlight today to open the flow gates even more is to understand that everything that we pursue, everything that we want, when a desire comes alive for us, we have an opportunity to understand what receiving actually is versus what we think it is. When we're in hunter mode, we think that receiving is getting. So you hunt your target, whatever that is, and at some point you get the thing. You just capture it, you get it, okay? But the problem with looking at receiving as getting is that it's finite. Once you get the thing, you're done. You might be happy and fulfilled for a little bit until it's time to hunt another beast because you're hungry again. So the best you can hope for with getting is a fleeting sense of fulfillment. It passes and then you're back to separation consciousness and hunting and pursuing and all of that stuff. So that's the hunter's viewpoint of receiving. Now, the majestic tree or the human being approach to receiving is that receiving is a feeling. It's always feeling based. So if you are seeking more money, what you're after is the feeling of, fill in the blank, abundance, freedom, carefreeness, peace, so you're not worried. If you are pursuing or hunting weight loss, what you're really after is a feeling, the feeling of lightness, the feeling of beauty, the feeling of agility. If you are pursuing a relationship, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, something like that, you're chasing a feeling. What's the feeling? It's the feeling of love. It's the feeling of connection. It's the feeling of companionship, intimacy, support. So every goal you ever have is because you're chasing a feeling. And freedom is the same way, the same thing. What you really want, which goes back to our part 3 focus, how is it that you experience freedom? Well, you can open the floodgates when you understand that freedom is a feeling. You don't become free, you are free. Your nature is freedom. So if you're not experiencing that, it's not because it's missing. It's not because something out there needs to change. It's about opening up to the freedom that you already are. And that requires turning within, returning to yourself. And as we talked about in part 1 and part 2, exploring how is it that I'm already free, and practicing the free will to choose how you direct your awareness. So you already are freedom. You can start to explore how is it that you're already free. And when you really allow yourself to contemplate that freedom is a feeling that you can access now through willingness, through invitation, which is what we do in receiving. Like the majestic tree, it's an embodied eternal invitation. Just by placing your attention on the willingness to feel the freedom that is already here, you start to open the flow gates again. Same thing with abundance. Abundance is a feeling. It's not a number in the bank. I guarantee you, I have so many clients that are 7 and 8 figure net worth people who still stress over the bills and expenses and who's going to take their money. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You can't feel free by changing something in the outer world. You can't feel abundance by controlling something that you can't control with the economy or your taxes or whatever. You can't change the outer world enough to change your inner world. You must turn within first. Really nurture that consciousness. And then the outer world rises up to meet you because your consciousness creates your reality. So that is what I hope you will take away with yourself. Just that shift in perspective, that illumination of the blind spot, which is freedom is an experience. It's a feeling. It's not a getting. It's not an outcome. Nothing needs to change out there for you to feel free. You could change everything out there and still not feel free. It's an inside job. And the easiest place to begin, besides shifting your perspective like we do with illuminating these blind spots, is to be an invitation. That's the third part of the receiving method. ALI. Awareness, let it be here, invite more or better. That's all we do in the world of receiving. And all of the courses and all of the cards and all of the workbooks are really about taking that simple, life-changing process or method. It's an inch wide and a mile deep, and you can apply it, and your roots go deeper, and your branches and your presence expand, and your capacity to receive just expands and expands and expands the more you expand your awareness. So here is today's card. It is the Receive Freedom card. It's much more beautiful than it renders here. It's just because of maybe that's it. Can you see that? Oh, there it is. That's the trick. Yeah. I am willing to savor my freedom by always returning to myself. There you go. So, if you would like your own cards, go check out ReceiveCardDeck.com. You can put in your pre-order and receive the workbook, the companion workbook, as my gift. They are coming out May 5th. So once they're here, the free gift workbook goes away, and you can receive your own Receive Card Deck and start practicing ALI with that. You can also check out the Receive course at receivecourse.com, and that is the place to really open up to this beautiful, simple yet profound being skill set, become a fortunate receiver, and open your capacity to receive your joyful fulfillment in ways better than you ever imagined. It just keeps giving. I'm so fulfilled by what I see my clients receive, inner world and outer world manifestations. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like, please share. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve. If you're on YouTube, click the red subscribe button. You'll always get the latest videos that I put out. Right now I'm doing 3 a week, so there's always plenty of receiving nourishment for you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye, everybody.